I am Brandy Hinesley. I go by B, and I am applying for the Epic UTeach SPED program. I first became involved with Epic as a parent when my child, who has a 504 for type 1 diabetes, was experiencing great difficulty in school, and so we looked into our alternatives and found Epic to be the best choice for us. Since then, we have completely enjoyed all of our Epic experience, and that is why this year I started searching into possibly being a more involved part of Epic and found that my BA in General Studies would allow me to go through the UTeach SPED program. I am interested in working with special education due to my own neurodiversity in thought processes. I've never been diagnosed, but I know that especially in math, I tended to think differently, had a great amount of trouble in most of junior high and high school, and it wasn't until college when my professor showed us how to use new math and allowed us to use that as our way of coming to the answers, and didn't make us stick to a strict showing your work type thing and allowed for my lateral thinking of bunching things together and all of that. It just was a life changer, and I ended up, although I did end up with an 89.4 because my awakening did not occur till after the first couple of tests. It's my only B, and I'm still very proud of it because it was a B in a math course. The rest of my courses were A's because I've always done well with anything that involves reading and writing. But beyond that, I also have a daughter who has a social communication disorder, and it used to be part of the autism spectrum because they don't have the outward physical characteristics of that they tend to find with those with autism. They removed it in the latest version of the DSM and put it into its own category. My older daughter prefers, however, to try to continue in standard public school systems because she likes people, even though she doesn't truly understand them. But with going through this with her, I started researching more about neurodiversity, and then in my education, my own personal education path, I had started in secondary social sciences, but knew that I always wanted to delve deeper into the education system, more than teaching, although very noble calling, and definitely want to participate in that for the experience, because I don't think that you should try to tell people where to change things without having that experience yourself. But I knew that I wanted to teach and then. And the and then is that I want to create a program in which neurally diverse people have a stronger support system at the college and higher education level, which right now they do have some accommodations, but there are few and far programs in between that allow for neurodiversity accommodations, and especially not when you start getting in the higher levels and into the graduate levels. However, I don't believe that people should have to figure this all out for themselves, and think that a grant-funded program would be the best way to allow for people with neurodiversity to be able to attend at the higher education levels. Specifically focusing on those with Autism 1, but open to all that have neurodiversities, and being able to help them with accommodations in the beginning, and as they further and further go along, learning how to utilize their own skills to benefit them in order to achieve and succeed at the college level, especially at the graduate level. I'm also deeply interested in history and believe that history is this beautiful multi-layer foundation that we should all know more about. And in learning history, we learn about the equality and humanity of everyone. So, in doing that, I delved into the history path in order to gain my PhD and in order to become more of an administrator or be able to be seen as someone qualified as an administrator and be able to create this program. But before I could do any of that, I knew that I needed to delve further into the special education, and this UTeach SPED program allowed for that possibility. So I chose to apply. Before I run out of video time, my interests also come from the individualized learning approach that EPIC provides, and that is what I chose to write about in my task 2. I wrote about individualization and differentiated learning, and I believe that both are the manners in which I will work with the higher education faculty and staff in learning about accommodations for neurally diverse people, because that is what they actually need, is individualized learning systems that will teach them the same manner but allow for the way that they think. I wrote the one-page report telling you about all of my thoughts, and I greatly enjoyed learning more about the difference in individualized and personalized. Thank you for listening to my interview.